I'm Coach Dan Ryan, famous for the PMP training, but I also do these PDU classes. I'll give you all the info at the end of class. And pay good attention because at the end, there really is going to be a quiz. All right, raise your hand if you want to take a quiz at the end. All right, I know you PMP folks are missing my quizzes. All right, so thanks for joining. Before we begin, though, let me share with you a news story that I saw right before class. All right, so in the news, and really, literally, I just saw this an hour ago, and I said, let me include this in today's class. China has done a cryptocurrency ban. Raise your hand if you're familiar with this news. And, they're concerned about gambling or money laundering, or maybe there's some other political motives. We don't know. But the move sparked a sharp drop in the markets. And I had a little bit of stuff on one of their apps, and I saw that they went down a lot, but it came back a little bit. But, so this is a very volatile thing. All right. We don't know where a lot of countries are going to fall on this still. Even the U.S. is starting to coalesce positions around these new things. So this article went along to break down the implications of the announcement. We're not going to get into that, but I just share it because I've been planning to do this presentation for some time, but I just saw this right before class. All right, so let's get into our lesson. All right, we start with the discussion around digital currencies or assets. Now, cryptocurrencies have been really popular over the last couple of years. There's more than 1,600 of them, and that number is growing every day. Now, with that growth, we need developers to build these technologies, right? And that's where something called blockchain comes in. Blockchain is the underlying technology of the cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just one example. So the money that these developers make, it's way up there. So it shows you just how much this skill is valued. There's even a whole website just for crypto jobs. So maybe if you want to check that out, or you want to just keep up with the latest trends in tech, you should, pay attention to this and understand this digital currency or this asset, which we call cryptocurrency. Now, back in the olden days, people used to use the barter system, right? Goods and services were exchanged between people, and you might give somebody a fish for a piece of meat, or 7 apples for 7 oranges. But we had some big problems with it. If you've got something to trade and somebody else has something that you want, good, then you're fine. You each have something that you're offering. But what about there being no common measure of value? So you have to decide how many of your items you're willing to trade for how many of the other items, and not all items are the same, or they can't be divided, right? You can't divide a live animal into units, right? So the goods can't be transported easily. Unlike our modern currency, which fits into our wallet, or it's stored on a mobile phone. All right, so after people realized the barter system wasn't going to work, we went through several iterations. In 110 BC, we had an official currency minted, and that was great. Then, oops, excuse me, something happened there. Then we went to gold-plated florins, which were introduced and used across Europe until the 1900s. All right, but our modern currency now includes things like paper, coins, credit cards, Amazon, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, PayPal, Venmo. But it's all controlled by banks and governments, centralized regulatory authorities. And they put limits on how this stuff works. Right? So let's talk about traditional currencies versus cryptocurrencies. Now imagine a scenario in which you want to repay a friend who bought you lunch by sending some of the money to their account. And maybe your bank or the financial institution's having a technical issue. So the systems are down or the machines aren't working properly. How about you or your friend's account could have been compromised or hacked? Maybe somebody did a denial of service, or maybe there was an identity theft or a phishing attempt. Or maybe the transfer limits for you or your friend's account could have been exceeded. Now, there's one central point of failure here: the bank. This is why the future of currency lies with technologies like cryptocurrency. All right, now imagine a similar transaction between two people using the Bitcoin process. A notification appears asking whether the person is sure they're ready to transfer the Bitcoins. And if yes, the system authenticates their identity, checks whether they've got the required balance and so forth. Once that's done, the payment's transferred and the money lands in the receiver's account. All of this happens in seconds. Cryptocurrency then removes a lot of those problems from modern banking. There's no limits to the funds you can transfer. Your accounts can't be hacked, and there's no central point of failure. Now maybe you can understand why there's more than 1,600 of these currencies available, from Bitcoin to Litecoin to Dogecoin to Ethereum to Zcash. My son tried explaining Dogecoin to me. I said, what the heck is a joke currency? All right, but apparently it's worth more than General Motors or something. All right, so now the question can be asked, what is cryptocurrency? It's a digital or virtual currency that's meant to be a medium of exchange. So it's quite similar to the real world currency, except it doesn't have any physical embodiment. It uses cryptography to work. And we'll talk about cryptography in a little bit. All right, cryptocurrencies operate independently and in a decentralized fashion. No bank, no central authority. And new units can be added only after certain conditions are met. For example, with Bitcoin, only after a block's been added to the chain will the miner be rewarded with Bitcoins, and then this is the only way new Bitcoins can be generated. The transfer of funds is easy and securely verified, and the operation doesn't need a bank. Also, if the certain conditions are met, only then the new units can be added. All right, the most popular type of crypto is called Bitcoin. And today there are thousands of alternatives with various functions and different specifications or targeted towards different markets. Some of these are simply just clones of Bitcoin, while others were built from scratch. Now, Bitcoin was launched in 2009 by an individual or a group by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. It gets weirder from there. As of March 2021, there were 18.6 million Bitcoins in circulation, with a total market cap of around $927 billion. Some of the competing cryptocurrencies spawned by Bitcoin's success, like altcoins, Litecoin, Peercoin, Namecoin, Ethereum. Altogether, the whole market has a total value of 1.5 trillion. All right, these are the 10 largest cryptocurrency organizations in the market. And you can see Bitcoin up at the top there, way bigger than everybody else, all the way down to the smallest there called Internet Computer. All right, so what are the benefits of cryptocurrency? Transaction cost is low, sometimes nothing. Now, let me just hedge that. when you transfer it back to the bank, to the real world, if you will, you can get a small fee. But within that world, within that system, no. You can make transactions at any time, day or night, no limits, any amount of withdrawals, and anybody can use this. Unlike setting up a bank account, which you have to give documentation and other paperwork. And these are way faster than wire transfers, which take about 6 or 7 hours for the money to be moved. This takes even just minutes or even just seconds.